What you're talking about are a lot of people who are performers, but they are not necessarily creatives. And there's a difference because artists stand on it. And so that really is the difference between me and a lot of my peers, that they are performers and I am an artist.
Artistic, intellectual.
You said it.
Because you've been in those spaces. You've been in entertainment spaces. You've been in you've seen it all. But you've always stayed consistent in your voice and in your content and in your you have always stayed consistent in standing firm with Black people and never scared and never holding no punches. That is something that I've always admired from you.
Thank you.
The problem with majority of Black entertainers is that they don't do that. Are they scared? Are they intimidated, or do they want to protect their interests? Because this is something even here in Kenya, even here. Yeah.
I think it's all the
yeah.
above. What a lot of people don't understand about entertainers is that, by nature of the job, you are accustomed to applause. And there's an exchange that's happening. You are performing and people are applauding. And that give and take is what drives a lot of entertainers. You'll see a lot of entertainers who maybe their fame wanes, or, they no longer are in the same spotlight, and they end up getting addicted to narcotics because they're missing that exchange. They're missing that chemical reaction that happens when you do the thing that you do and people respond. And so I think even on a basic level, you're dealing with a type of human that lives to get. And so they are essentially going to continue in that practice. And they're going to do, there's an addiction that happens in that. So you're going to keep doing what is going to allow you to continue to live in that comfort of performing and getting the response. So for a lot of people, I don't think it's just about money. I think it's also about, well, this is how I exist and I can't let anything get in the way. And that is insecure. And there's an insecurity attached to that. When you're dealing with a lot of these performers, you're dealing with people who also they have trauma. They have trauma, and performing characters allows them to hide in other bodies. It's deep, baby. It's deep. And I am a very unique, person. I'm a unique case. I'm somebody who was always myself before I was a performer. I mean, even when I was 8 and my mom was like, oh, let's go to this audition, I was like, you just want me to go for you. I always had a consciousness around my individualism outside of this entertainment. I mean, I was a gymnast, and I was so mad that I had to miss gymnastics to go to an audition. I remember being in 5th grade, and I was at the nature walk, and my mom came and picked me up to take me to an audition. And I was so pissed that I had to miss the 5th grade trip. Mind you, I ended up being in the movie. All of these are auditions that I got that actually ended up shaping my career to be on Cop and a Half and My Brother and Me. But the person, Amanda Seals, was like, I want to go on the nature walk. So that was never a centralized interest. It was just a capability. People have a trade. Acting is my trade. I'm able to do it. Now that's different than creating. And I think that's what you have to understand the difference is. What you're talking about are a lot of people who are performers, but they are not necessarily creatives. And there's a difference because artists stand on it. And, you look at someone like Amy Sherald, who did the portrait of Michelle Obama that hangs in the Smithsonian Portrait Gallery for the presidents. She had a show coming up at the Smithsonian, and they told her that she needed to take down, that they weren't going to show some of the pieces that she had put in the show because they felt it was inappropriate. And she said, fuck y'all. and canceled the show. Now, someone who is not an artist, but who is there for the applause, right? They may have compromised because they would do the exchange in their mind and say, well, big deal. I take down a piece, but I still get the acclaim. I still get the access. But if you're really a creative, then you know that none of that matters more than the thing you've created and why you created it. And so that really is the difference between me and a lot of my peers, that they are performers and I am an artist.
Artistic intellectual.
You said it. And so, that's really at the base of it all. We are watching. Also, there's a commercialization of this art, of these art forms that really lets people in who have kind of figured out the cheat code, right? Which is like, oh, I just need to do this type of thing to get this type of money and access and fame. And again, if you're a performer, you can make yourself look like an artist. Right? So, and it's not the same for everybody. I mean, I just saw one of my co-stars from Insecure, Kendrick Sampson. I just ran into him in Houston the other day. And I mean, he's been a consummate organizer and activist while still doing movies and TV. Like, he's never compromised his commitment to the movement in that regard, right? And you see legends like, Harry Belafonte, who did the same. I mean, again, we wish they were in so many numbers that we couldn't name them. But we also know that we're fighting a much bigger beast. And there really is a courage that has to be a part of that as well. And whether you're an artist, creative, or performer, or just, a teacher, courage does not get distributed evenly.
Like I put you, with the league of Belafonte, Makeba. Even now, they are really good examples, by the way. I really admire Killer Mike. I really admire David Banner. So, I mean, like, when I see you guys, I'm like, oh, man, we need more Amanda Seals. Like, we need more. I mean, like, we need, because
that's the work that, that's really what I've committed myself to doing is really helping people to decolonize. I don't think folks really understand in the United States. I mean, we have been under such a extreme level of psychological operations for 60 years that we have an entire population of people who are essentially mentally ill because they have been so deeply propagandized that they absolutely don't know who they are. They don't know their own history. They don't even know how to identify the truth. They can't tell fact from fiction. They can't tell opinion from news. They have had fear so systematically injected into their lifestyle, into their existence, that they're molecularly different. And so when you're dealing with an entire population like that, you have to actually do the opposite of that psychological operation. You have to de-wire, you have to rewire. Now, I am a neurodivergent, I'm autistic, and that allows me to have much more of a handle on my brain than the brainwashers do. And, it is neurodivergent people who are often involved in organizing work and in revolution work, largely in part because we have a justice sensitivity, but also because our brains are less susceptible to being coerced and influenced by outside forces. And our brains operate in a constant effort of reorganizing and checking and trying to figure out. And so because of that, there's a constant shift that's hard to nail down. And so what I'm trying to awaken in folks is their ability to identify their own neurodivergence, if at all. And if they don't have neurodivergence, how to undo the the colonizing efforts of stopping you from asking why, of disconnecting you from spirit, of disconnecting you from nature and its power and its effectiveness, and of disconnecting you from your empathy, which is your superpower, your ability to see and feel beyond yourself. That is what ends up inspiring courage in most of us. Being able to feel other people's pain and ends up pushing you to do things that you may not necessarily have done for yourself because it's so much stronger. And there's a reason why in Octavia Butler's book, Parable of the Sower, the main character who ends up being the one to lead these people to, a new future, a new possibility of life in the midst of dystopian degradation. There's a reason why she is an empath of the highest level, like so much so that if you get punched, she feels the physical blow. I mean, that wasn't just like some added little flavor for razzle dazzle. It's because that level of awareness of other pain and other pleasure, it connects us in a way that I believe also inspires our strength. So we are not just feeling other people's pain. We're not just feeling other people's pleasure. We're able to feel other people's courage, which gives us more courage. We're able to feel other people's bravery, right? Which gives us more bravery. We're able to feel other people's joy, which gives us something more to fight for.
Yeah.
So, for me, Palestine really awakened that for me. And, and so I'm trying to do my best through my art, through my show views from Amanda Land, through my videos on Instagram, I'm trying to do my best to help reconnect people to that. And I think that's really something that our ancestors would be the most frustrated about, is how we have been so effectively disconnected from each other.